Hi, this is Anthony. Welcome back to my show. As always, be sure to hit like, subscribe, leave a comment. I always read the comments and I respond to them eventually. One of the things that I've always been interested in is the media and media companies. And I'm not an expert in them, but it's always interesting to read them because they tend to be household names. Things like BuzzFeed and Vice Media, Vox, Huffington Post, even the New York Times, Washington Post. Most people have heard of those, or, many people. The average person has heard of a lot of these, especially if you pay attention to YouTube or the internet. Anyway, I came across this documentary, so this is another episode of what I'm watching. I came across Vice Media from $5.7 billion unicorn to a fire sale. This is a documentary that Junk Bond Investor, which I just subscribed to, put up. Very professionally done, only about 15 minutes long. There's a Vice valuation cliff diagram. They talk about the history of Vice, very interesting. And then at the end, it gives, I don't know, five or six kind of takeaways from what happened with Vice. And I cover a lot of stocks on this channel, and sometimes suggesting that you put them on your radar, other times suggesting that you avoid them. I think one that you should be very cautious, one category is media stocks. Now, Reddit might be an exception, but so many other media stocks had such a problem. BuzzFeed, I started watching a couple years ago, back when it was down under a dollar. Looks like it's bumped up quite a bit at one point and then has continued falling. Because it shows this at $40, it may have been originally $10 and then they had like a 4-for-1 reverse split. I'm not sure. But there's 5 years. Yeah, it only goes back about 5 years or so. BuzzFeed was once very popular, and look where that stock's gone. Just looking at some other ones. So, when you're looking at one stock here, sometimes on the right hand side, it will give you similar stocks, sometimes not. Let's look at this one. I've never heard of this one until today. Down under $2. There's the $5 chart. 5 days, not $5. 5 days, it's down 13%. Not real great. 30% in 1 month. 6 months, ooh, you would have lost 99.86% in 6 months. Year to date, well, look at that. In May, if you would have bought $3,136 or even $3,122, that share of stock would be worth less than $2 now. Not sure what this company does. It's in Hong Kong. It's losing money, is what it does. Um, Sometimes this is kind of interesting to look through. Sometimes you can get it. You can come across something that's not that bad. A speculation, something beaten down that may still have some value. This one year to date down 95%. Last 52 weeks 97%. 5 years down 99.92%. But that's from this point, not from this point. If you would have put what, $8,112, again, you'd have almost a little over a dollar. So it could be kind of fun to look at those. Again, 6 months, it's down 97%, down 99.9% year to date. Somebody putting $6,000 in, you'd have a little over $5. And this one hasn't been out. Well, look at that. $13,000 5 years ago would be $5.33 now. Here's a company that, according to this, has 1,255 employees. It's located in Cambodia. Interesting. How many Cambodian stocks do you have in your portfolio? So, wow, this was $15.28 last month, basically, and it's dropped 82%. Hasn't been out too long. Again, don't know what that makes. Could be a manufacturing company of some type, only losing 1 cent per share, but just a tiny company with $3.83 million in revenue for the quarter ending March 2025, and a loss there. You could buy the whole company on the stock market for less than $15 million. Anyway, I'll end here. Just thought that I'd put on your radar this documentary about Vox. Very interesting. If you're interested in investing in any type of media stock, be very cautious. Let's see what Reddit's doing. This is one I have to admit that I thought would not do well. And so far I've been wrong. It was up kind of sideways for 1 month, which is to be expected. Up almost 80% in 6 months. Year to date, up respectable 17%. 1 year, up 50%. 5 years, up 323%. It only goes back about 2 years. You could have bought it around the IPO at about $46 a share. Now it's up almost 200. Has a PE ratio of 109. Pretty high. That's not necessarily sustainable. But they are making some money. Anyway, that's about the only media stock. I'm not saying it's the only media stock, but there aren't many of any type that are doing well. Anyway, I'd love to hear from you again. Hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment. I always respond to them. Check out my other videos, and be sure to check out that video on Vice on the Junk Bond YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it.